Hello, folks. Good evening and welcome to another date on the Journalist Hangout Show. I am Citizen Jones Hussein. But I'm sure you know today is Good Friday evening, and in the Lenten season, it is the 39th day of Lent. So we are almost there. As we say, while you thirst and hunger after righteousness, seek, think of your country. All right, today on the program, Ononga files 16 grounds of appeal against conviction by CCT as presidency says judgment will send clear signals to corrupt persons. APC governors and chairmen from North Central State endorse Lawan and Bajabiamila for 9th National Assembly leadership. President Buhari laments killings, promises to crush bandits, just as NAF, the Nigerian Air Force, sets up panel to investigate alleged killings of civilians in Zamfara. And later on, this one, away from politics now, Arsenal, Chelsea progress in UEFA Europa League. I'll be hanging out with Babajide Kolade Otitoji. Jide, I greet you.
I greet you.
Happy holiday ahead.
Yeah.
And we do have Chris Kainde Wandu. That's the only Nigerian who can combine
such.
No, Baba is good. What's Kainde in Igbo?
I don't know.
Una no get twins.
No, we don't get twins. You know, name for twins.
Okay, the team is ready. I hope you are, gentlemen. Okay, let's go. You know, when a country's chief justice is on trial, that country's judiciary is in the dock. When he is convicted, then you realize that as a big man, if you have something people must not know, then you don't do it. In the first place, embattled former Chief Justice of the Federation, Justice Walter Ononga, has approached the Court of Appeal in Abuja, adducing 16 grounds why his conviction by the CCT, that's the Code of Conduct Tribunal, cannot stand. To him, the verdict is unconstitutional, and according to his lead counsel, Mr. Okonefut, SAN, it's a breach of his client's right to fair hearing. The presidency, in a swift reaction, says the conviction of the erstwhile judiciary top dog is, in its words, quote, a major victory for the anti-corruption policy of the Buhari administration, end quote. Again, it sends clear signals to other corrupt judges. Are you thinking what I'm thinking?
It sends clear signals, no doubt, to corrupt judges. And even if this conviction at this stage does not achieve more than that, I am satisfied, because the message it sends is corruption on the bench will no longer be tolerated. It is good for us to have judges who are above board, and it is good for the highest court in the land to be dominated by judges who are above board, who you can trust, who give justice to who deserves justice, and not simply to who can pay the greater money. You know, so it's a very significant development. I was reading one of the EFCC lawyers, Shitu, and he was saying, Wahab Shitu, and he was saying, this is nothing to celebrate about, that the judiciary has found itself in this state. It's nothing
self-inflicted.
It's nothing to celebrate about. And I think too that he is cautious about making pronouncements with finality, because he's not sure that at the level of appeal, Ononga will not be discharged and acquitted. And if Shitu thinks that way, it will be because of some of the things, some of the judgments, similar judgments that we had seen. Justice Rita Ophelia Jumogobia was discharged just, I think on Thursday or so, or is it Wednesday or Thursday, by a high court. She was being tried for a criminal offense, and then the judge said that any matter that had not that a judge cannot be brought to trial or except the matter had first been referred to the NJC. So, and what makes this one complex is what Danladi Umar, the judge, did in the case of Sylvester Nguta. He declined jurisdiction in handling in the matter of Sylvester Nguta, who was also accused of non-access declaration.
Yeah.
But in the case of Onohe, he assumed jurisdiction and went on to convict him. So that makes the whole thing confusing. Coming from the same court, you understand? I want to see a situation in which the Nigerian judiciary will be consistent. At every level, you will know that if this kind of matter is brought before a judge, this is what will happen. You know? But right now, we do not have that. Because if a judge from the same court and people from the same set of accused persons brought before him, and he served justice, he serves conflicting judgment to both men, and their cases, I can even say, are the same. So it makes the matter really confusing. But one thing that excites me, we didn't waste anybody's time about Onohen's matter. Onohen, as I said back then, should have resigned a long time ago to put himself on trial. Yeah. But you know, clearly some people misadvised him. He held on. His name has been rubbished. Whatever even happens at the level of appeal, the chief judge's name has been rubbished, and I think the right thing to do was to have him step aside.
Chris, quickly, you know, many people in this country will believe that hanging in there, holding on, you know, in the case of our embattled brother, shows strength of character and all that. But it leads you to the abyss. Is it about the person concerned? Because Jide talked about Sylvester Nguta and the top dog. Because after God, we are told it is the Chief Justice of a nation.
Yes. I agree with you. First and foremost, on the issue of people holding on. At times, you tend to hold on if you believe that you have, or you have all the, you have a good case. And if you have a good case, you will not want to give in easily.
Which is debatable.
Yes, it's debatable, but it is only the court of law that has the right to convict or discharge any person. As a student of law, I also know that most often than not, we always look at law or say law is the court is the last hope of the common man. So it's not just the common man, but the big man of every man. But taking it from where Jide stopped, also in law, there's what we call precedents. Precedents in law. Precedents are situations where you base judgments on judgment
what had been
in the past. Yeah. Yes. So as you don't just come up if there has been incidents of similar fashion or crime or whatever, and the judgment has been passed, irrespective whether you're even the one that passed it or not, there's always, the duty is you are bound to always look at precedents in arriving at your own judgment. That is what the law tells us. Okay. Especially when it comes to superior courts. Yes. Then, yes, when it comes to superior courts especially, which is where most of the lower courts get their own. So in this case, there have been a precedent at the CCT, just as Jide rightly said. So Onohe's case supposed to also take that same pattern. So the judge, for whatever reason, deviated from that.
As a rule, Chris, as a rule of the thumb,
yes,
if a case had taken such a route,
yes,
this one must. As a rule of the thumb?
Yes, as a rule of the thumb.
Oh, really?
That's what the law says. As a rule. It is. Okay? You can only invent your own judgment if there are certain things that you see Do you understand what I'm trying to say? There are certain things you see from the case you are handling. But if it's a similar case with the same premise, there's no way you can go. But let us look at some of the issues raised by the CJN. First and foremost, he talks about, he said he was a serving judicial officer. What that also says is that as a judge or as a serving judicial officer, any offense that anybody within that context commits will first and foremost be taken to the NJC. That is the body that is given.
Please tell us, because you know a bit more about this than my humble self.
Yes.
What's the primary job of the NJC at that point?
Their primary job is to look at the case or look at the allegations, if there were, at that point in time.
Does it discipline?
Of course, they can make us discipline. They can recommend. They can recommend.
Discipline.
Yes, they can recommend. And most of them, don't forget that this same NJC has recommended the dismissal of several judges. And trial and judge. So many of them have been dismissed. I know of at least of 3 or 4.
So what happened?
Then what happened? Well, it is.
We must take this.
But let us look at it from this before I sign off. What we ask ourselves there was a petition written to NJC about the CJN. Those are the issues. I think we can take it up from there.
Did you have to bury this for us quickly?
The judiciary is on trial, just as you said at the beginning of the program. It's difficult to predict how all this will end. The CJN made some mistakes. Clearly now he has paid for the mistakes that he made. I know that there's a portion of the law that says if you admit in writing, there will be no need to bring you before the tribunal for trial. But in this case, the tribunal has interpreted that as confession and has gone ahead to convict. So it's a very complex matter that we are dealing with. But that portion of the law is there, and I'm sure that his lawyers, when they get to the level of appeal, they are going to bring it up. That look, this portion was there, that if I admitted in writing that I left out some items, then I should not be brought before trial.
And then the debate must continue.
And then the issue of jurisdiction.
Jurisdiction is also very key. The issue of jurisdiction.
I hear the criminal justice system in this country is still being oiled. I'd rather we oil it.
There are 16 grounds upon which it's appealing. But it needs only one of the grounds to be successful for him to be discharged and acquitted.
All right. Okay, let the debate continue, but one poignant lesson is this. If you are a big man in this country, as indeed a small man,
Be careful.
if you don't want people to talk about it, if you don't want the law to come your way, don't do it. All right, then, let's go. The old maxim that an animal that escapes being trapped is always afraid of a bent stick appears to be playing out in the APC family. All Progressives Congress governors and chairmen from the north central geopolitical zone of the country are leaving, or is leaving no stone unturned. It should be now. And no turn unstoned. Did you get that logic? Regarding the leadership of the 9th National Assembly ahead of inauguration in a little over 4 weeks from now. Both Senator Ahmed Lawan and Honorable Femi Gbajabiamila have been given the okay to assume positions of Senate President and House Speakership, respectively. Now, to a top-notch member of the party and image maker of the Plateau State Governor, Simon Lalong, and the man is Mark Longe, the issue for now is about consensus. Other things will follow suit. Politics playing out.
Yes,
politics.
You can see that the leadership of the APC is working very hard to hammer out this deal and avoid an embarrassment at the end of the day. There is still some disquiet over the choice of both men. And you can see, especially in the House of Reps, many candidates are still coming up. They've not been able to rein everyone in. They've not been able to get everyone to queue up behind the candidacy of Femi Gbajabiamila. The same thing in the House of Reps.
Oh, you mean the Senate?
The Senate. There are still some members, key members of the party, who want to contest against the choice of the leadership of the party. The good thing for APC is that there's still time to hammer out a deal. They just must keep talking. Politics, as I always say, is an inclusive sport. You must get everyone involved, get them involved, and get them to realize why there's a need for the party to sing from the same hymnal. So if you all come to sing from the same hymnal, the mistakes of the past can be avoided.
But the notes must not be discordant while you sing.
Yes, for people for people without sufficient musical education, these things happen.
If you are not a chorister,
These things,
I'm sorry for
these
you.
things
I
happen.
was one.
These things happen. No, there are those who will move. You're supposed to sing alto, but you will move from alto
To contralto.
go and sing
Soprano.
you will sing soprano and all that. So that's musical indiscipline.
Yeah.
But the point that one is making, and of course the conductor is there to make sure that everyone, all the parts come out as they should. Now, the point that I'm making is, even those who want to contest at this time, they must find a way to get them to drop their ambitions, because it will play into the hands of the enemy when you find it difficult to get those APC members. Because APC, the chairman, national chairman, is boasting that they have the majority. They don't need to share posts with PDP. But in spite of the majority that you have, the majority you have is not overwhelming majority, because you don't have to toss majority that the PDP used to have in those days. What you have is simply a simple majority.
It's simple, yeah.
You know, that's the way it's defined. Now, if those guys contest against one of their own, chances are that those votes will be split. And this is why the leadership must keep talking. I heard Leon Dume saying that the VP never told him to drop his ambition. You know, the VP called him recently and they had the conversation. And he said, no, the VP never said I should drop my ambition. He appears bent on going ahead, despite the fact that even his governor has appealed to him, and the governor has openly, he made a show of his support for a different candidate, which is the candidate of the party, Lawan. But Leon Dume insists on going ahead to contest. And we still have Danjuma Guje, who met the president, but has not told anyone that after my meeting with the president, I'm no longer interested. So, but they are there in the race. They must continue to talk to them while working on other members of the party. And that same attitude must be replicated in the House of Reps, where there are a number of people who have already indicated their interest to contest against the candidate of the party, despite the fact that the party has decided to zone the deputy House of Rep speakership to the North Central.
Yeah.
There are some candidates who have emerged even from the North Central. You know, so it remains complex, and at this stage, it's like an end-to-end game in football. You know, we're just like Man City and this. You never could tell how the game will end. So, but at the same time, I'm hopeful that the APC will be able to put its house in order and get everyone to queue up behind the candidate of the party.
Chris, you cannot rule out fifth columnists here, because they are hanging. You know, they are playing the spoiler sport. You know, you can't take that away from them.
You can't.
The national chairman of the party, as father figure, this is the time he must. His steps must be nimble.
Yes, I agree with you. There's a say in my place. You know,
Which is your place?
Obo, Imo State.
Okay.
I'm from Obo.
Jide now.
He knows. In my place, there's a saying that when you see something or an object dancing by the bush side, those playing the instrument, and you don't see anybody, those playing the instrument are somewhere right inside the bush.
Okay. It has no direct link with Iberiberi.
No, it's not Iberiberi.
No, go on.
It doesn't. What am I saying? And Ali Ndume wouldn't be coming out so strong, saying what he's saying. Goje has not been that strong in coming out, but Alain Dume has been very strong and very, very emphatic on what he's saying. Despite what his governor, who is also an elected senator, who is also going to be part of the voting, is saying. And that is where it becomes very troublesome for a party like APC. Alain Dume is not a man you can just push away. Some of us knew, right from when he was in House of Representatives, he's a force to be reckoned with. Even, don't forget, he was also the Senate leader at one point before the problem he had. So you'll be shocked that he may be having some support, especially from the opposition. And if he can get some number of support from, I'm talking of the Senate now, if he can get the level of support from the opposition and get some members of his own party to back him, then there will be problem. And that is where, what like Jide rightly said, I don't like the music. I don't like the reggae. I don't like the blues and the rhythm that the chairman...
What about the orchestra?
The orchestra, even the orchestra that the chairman of APC is playing. I expect him to be a politician. Irrespective of whatever.
That's Ndume.
No, Adam Soshomole.
Okay.
His statement so far doesn't show him as a well-grounded politician.
Or father figure.
Or a father figure. Because no matter what, at a point, they were saying that, no, don't talk to the opposition, don't talk to the opposition. After some time, then they relaxed it a bit and say, okay, you can, that the contestants can talk to the opposition. They don't have, especially in the Senate, the APC does not have majority control of the, I think we have about close to about 38 or overwhelming.
It's a simple majority.
Simple majority is what they have.
Yes.
And if we remember what happened in 2015, Saraki was elected based on the support of the opposition, not even members of his own party. So I think that the party, what I just like what is going on is that, unlike in the past, the presidency seems to be very much in tandem interested now.
So
unlike what happened in 2015.
The number one citizen
No, he said no.
Will go beyond body language.
No, this one will go beyond, even
this
the physical body. This one he has told them point blank that this is what we want. And with that kind of statement from the president, I know they can swing it. But let us not forget that it is not just about the ruling party. And let me come back again. Also talking about the national chairman of APC. He said, he was going to have said, we are not going to share any chairmanship seat with any party. There's no way it is
not the one who will run.
The Senate is an independent. He cannot run the National Assembly, irrespective of these are senators. He cannot choose their chairmanship and the members of the committees and the rest of them. He can only, his role is that of advisory. But it is within the senators, within themselves to be able to. So I think what is playing out is a good one. But what I like about it is that at least the APC have come out as quickly as possible to state where they will stand. Unlike in the past, what happened during the thing. It was just used to know Lawan. It was this same Lawan, don't forget. It was this same Lawan that was being pushed in 2015 until Saraki took over.
Plus
Bajabia Miller, his own case, as far as I'm concerned, Bajabia Miller's case is a bit settled. It's a bit more settled because he has a massive support within members of House of Reps, even from the opposition and the rest of them.
Chris, except that
in politics, never said never.
2 + 2 is 22.
In politics.
And not 4. Judy, as we begin to drive it home, you think the APC can again, back-to-back, self-destruct? Can it? Does it have the tendency to?
It's possible. And that's why we are advising them to do what is right. The national chairman should rein in his rhetorics. I expect that there will be people who can talk to him about some of the reckless statements, unfounded statements that he makes. He needs to just galvanize his troops. Tell them this is what we want. Don't go to the point of telling them that this is what you do. Because the one who wants to be Senate president also needs the votes of the PDP members.
He does.
It's not every member of his party that will vote for him.
Yes.
So it's foolhardy is foolhardy to say, oh, we have enough people to. What's the point? Amongst the APC members, even me at this level, I know those who will not vote for the candidate that the party is bringing forward. So the candidate, Lawan, from the Senate, for example, knows that it makes sense for him to go and hunt for support across party lines.
Yes.
That's the way it should be.
Play ball.
That's the way it should be. So I don't understand this kind of chauvinism whereby you say, no, they should not do this, they should not. And at the end of the day, if you are not careful, you will imperil the chances of the party of winning the top prize.
All right, we must lay this to rest, but not before sharing this with you. I don't know if Jide and Chris have this saying in my place. They say, if you cook for village, be sure no allow village to cook for you.
Exactly.
Does it make sense? Yeah?
It does. It does.
And
No
if you cook for village,
the way
be sure.
in my place, they even say
Obo.
they said that yes, from Obo.
Uh.
They said if one person cook for village people,
Village
all of them
will
go
chop.
chop and finish. But if village cook for you only,
no, they don't finish.
you don't.
All right. Let's move away from here. But then let the debate continue. That's the beauty of democracy. Still to come, President Buhari laments killings, promises to crush bandits as the Nigeria Air Force sets up panel to investigate alleged killing of civilians in Zamfara. You want to stay tuned. All right, then, let's keep it going. You know, the brainless and idiotic killings of innocent citizens in Zamfara state and indeed across the country diminish us as members of the human family. The President, Commander-in-Chief Muhammadu Buhari has again vowed to go after the mindless merchants of cold-blooded murders and their cousins, the kidnappers and cult gangs ravaging the land. In his Easter message, the #1 citizen lamented the protracted killings in our country, even as he charged Nigerians to resist attempts by those he labeled bad elements whose major order is to break the existing cord of unity in communities. Yes, Mr. President, we share your angst, but we can't wait for the first felon that will be brought to justice. And Mr. President, a happy Easter to you. Didn't we have been here before?
Yes.
We've been here before.
It's, when you see what's happening now in Zamfara, you know, more than any TV station, we've drawn attention to the killings in Zamfara. And on social media, at every opportunity, we've told the government to do something. It's a thing of joy now that we are beginning to see the government take action. More than at any time since these killings began, even the bandits are feeling the heat. The bombardments are being sustained. Bandits are on the run. Their camps are being destroyed. Their informants are being arrested and investigated. And all we need to do now is to stay vigilant, because yesterday they attacked the villages in Jigawa is because they are being forced to flee the areas
From the theater.
the areas where they have been harassing people. So it means that states that are contiguous to Zamfara must stay alert now. We must keep security men even in those areas so that as we are chasing them, they don't go to those neighboring states to continue to kill people. And I was particularly stunned when I saw the story of the deputy chairman of Anka local government, who was arrested for allegedly being an informant to bandits. He was arrested. And don't forget, before now, the governor of Zamfara State, Abdulaziz Yari, had asked 14 district and village heads because they were said to be assisting the bandits, providing information for bandits to come and attack their communities. And these people were clearly the beneficiaries of the stealing of cattle, the selling of cattle that they steal, the ransom that get paid whenever they kidnap innocent
So this
people.
is organized.
It's
Organized
very much organized. That's why it's been sustained for that long. Because clearly power people were behind these guys, and it's like everyone gets what is due. You kidnap and ensure that everyone who helps you to provide information about the target gets paid something. That way, they are able to sustain their criminal tendencies. Now, we are seeing a reversal, a role reversal, because with the bombardment being sustained with the arrest, this is the first time that we are seeing big people being arrested on account of being of working for these bandits.
Yeah.
So it suggests to me that we are heading somewhere, and communities are happy now because those guys have been flushed out.
Sustenance, Chris, is the problem here.
Yeah.
Sustaining it, the heat. And they say in criminology, when you remove the impossible, whatever is left, however improbable, must be the truth. Listen to Jide's testimony. When I can't wait for the first big felon, big masquerade to be in the dock.
Yes, I agree with him, and I agree totally with you. You know, this issue going on in Zamfara has been lingering for long. Initially, what is coming out now is a bit different from what we have taught in the past, because initially it was just about, we are talking about people coming to steal cows and the rest of them, kill people and the rest of them. But it's obvious that it has become a not even a multi-million naira, but a multi-dollar crime.
And please, business.
Yes, business now. And good enough, we are getting information as to some of those that are involved and the rest of them. In fact, just as Judy rightly said, I think, what's it now? A vice chairman of a local government, yes, was recently picked. And I'm sure by the time he's interrogated, he will name more. That is one part of it. The second part of it also, to me, is also the alarm raised by some of the traditional rulers.
Yeah.
That their people are being killed by.
In fact, I'm told the emir of Bungudu.
Yes, exactly.
Bungudu. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Alhaji Hassan
Yes,
Atahiru.
that some of his people are being killed by aerial bombardment and the rest of them. But
At that point is the source.
Yes, it's the source.
So,
but the NAV, although initially denied it, but they have come back to say that they are raising up a panel to investigate some of those things. That tends to happen, and that's what they're supposed to have done in the first time. Before they came out, dismissing and said, no, you are taking. Yeah. Then the traditional ruler came out and gave out names. He wrote down names of those who died.
Yes. You cannot even sustain this kind of area bombardment
without some casualties,
expecting what is called collateral damage.
Yes, there will be.
You know, there will be collateral damage.
There will be collateral damages. So
I think they have the phrases or the word is strafing.
Strafing is when they bomb.
Yeah.
When they bomb,
you mop up.
The bombing is the strafing.
Okay.
You know, the bombing is the strafing. The collateral damage is when someone that does not deserve to die, or a building that does not deserve to go down, goes down in the course of bombing.
So good enough, the NAF said they are going to look into that. But back to the issue, it is very, very ridiculous that this has lingered for long. In fact, I remember that some time ago, the governor of Zamfara State said that he was going to remove himself as the chief security, or what do you call it now? Officer of the state because of the level of killing. But I believe Mr. President If he says it's going to, this is what is going to happen, and this is we're going to about it, I believe we can get it done. What is happening in Zamfara has now gone beyond just the problem of mining, as we, it also at the point.
I was tempted to believe that last Friday when we were here discussing it.
You remember that we also talked about the issue of mining and killing. That has been stopped. They've asked everybody to just get off the mining. It's a multifaceted problem that we're having in Zamfara State. And it's even more worse.
Zamfara is a metaphor for what's happening around the country.
Yeah, but it's all over now. It's all over the places.
Killings are going on, Buhari going on everywhere.
It's everywhere now and rest of them. So I think we need to rejig our security system. And also, I've always also said this, that it is not just having the powers that is issue. We should also look at the intelligence, how we gather intelligence.
Yeah.
Very, very key.
You can see the enemy gathers intelligence.
Yes, that is it.
All those people that they use to monitor the movement of other people.
Yeah. That's part of intelligence gathering.
Yeah. So if the enemy can do it, why shouldn't we do it?
But
my concern, gentlemen, is in counterintelligence, you do not go to town with your models
and strategies.
Just keep it close to your chest.
We are very good at doing that.
A lot of mistakes.
Yes. It's only in Nigeria that you hear that, the army is about to deploy 1,000 soldiers to go and do
Chris, the man, a Secret Service man, I'm SSS, only in Nigeria.
So you don't do that.
I hope I'm not reporting anything.
No. But that is what
we are correcting them.
We are correcting them. We are just telling them that some of this information, it is very, very difficult for you to hear the United States military or any arm of the United States or
announcing that they want
announcing that they are going to carry an operation.
They
would have finished the operation before you know what happened.
If they had announced that they were going to kill
Osama,
would they have succeeded?
They would have succeeded.
Even the country where he was.
Didn't even know. The president didn't know. The
It
president
was still asleep.
They have finished the operation before they told the president, this is what we just did. And the man shouted, in my country. So we don't, it's not something we should be doing. I think we should get
all right.
Well,
it diminishes me, and I believe you folks here, when you hear so and so people killed for no just cause.
That's just become a number.
Even when it is about the police discharging bullets without let. Come on. And I hear a statement credited to a top police officer. Yeah. When you meet SAS people, they speak English.
A lot of those killings, if we can stop policemen from drinking while at work.
Do you need a law?
If we can stop them,
there's a lot to that.
Even if the law is there, those of them who will drink will still drink. I've been to an hotel where I was relaxing, and the owner of the hotel served beer to the policemen who were guarding the place. And these guys who were carrying long rifles.
So what do you for serve them?
At that point, I kept telling myself that, look, once I finish this drink,
I'll take this bottle and
not to run. Because someone who, even without being drunk, some of them do not know when to use the rifle. And now, so you are getting them drunk. Shakespeare said, alcohol stimulates desire.
Oh yeah.
Whatever form of desire, whether it's the one in the other room or even on the streets, desire is desire.
Even in the holy book, you are told when Jesus turned the water into wine, the people who had it, they were happy.
Yeah, they were.
When you are happy, you are happy.
So the thing, I believe that those killings will stop if these SARS people, we need to purge SARS of the unwholesome characters that populate it.
I think they are giving.
Another problem is
a blank.
And then they've been given the feeling that, look,
they're untouchable.
Within the police, that you are the rarefied class.
You are the elite corps.
They are the rarefied class.
And
whatever you do, you
that they are grossly discourteous is something I cannot stand. A man in uniform, you are wearing the uniform of the country.
They don't even honor the uniform.
Those are not to wear uniform.
But you see, the thing is, when we talk about Zamfara, the police have paid so much with their lives in Zamfara.
Yeah,
so much.
We must admit that.
No fault of theirs.
No fault of theirs. Just because the enemy is better equipped.
Yeah.
Now, the enemy, we've seen clearly now that the enemy can only be defeated through overwhelming force, using the Air Force, the Air Force, the Army.
And more importantly, intelligence.
Yes.
Please,
As I said,
remember the old Bendel state.
intelligence.
In those days, I hear when you got to Benin and asked to be shown the way to the governor's house, you'll be asked, which of them? Anini or the real governor? And it took a dedicated officer to defuse Anini. Intelligence. And they caught him red-handed at a girlfriend's place.
Yes.
You know, intelligence is key.
very key. Intelligence is very key. When it comes to
the
issues
short,
of security,
short his leg, they turn him to a man with one and a half,
Maimed
one
him.
and a half legs.
Because that's what the rule says.
And that was the way
the
they tied him
handbook.
to the stakes. He had one and a half legs. You know, he was making fun of the other robber, the one they call Smalley. Smalley was the shortest in their robbery gang. So when they tied them to stakes, he was busy.
The guy was quick
insulting everybody. So when he said, Smalley, you thought reach these drums. So Smalley now said, me, I get 2 legs.
But the main man in the 7-man gang was Monday Osumbo.
Yes,
he stuttered.
He was
a very good shooter.
He stuttered, and he said,
he was the key person.
please, they say, any last words from you? Please, I beg, tell them, don't scatter me. So, scatter you for what?
No, just kill me with this.
No scatter.
We should be able to, I believe, intelligence. We should be able to work on our intelligence.
Oh, yeah.
Intelligence
It's very key here.
In all our key security outfits. It will help a lot.
There are 2 forests.
Yeah, it will help us.
2 forests in Zamfara.
Okay.
Where these guys are camped, and a lot of the attacks are planned from those 2 forests.
Namely,
there is the Dumburum forest. That Dumburum forest stretches up to Niger Republic, Katsina, Sokoto, and then
Kebbi, perhaps.
those local governments like Birnin Magaji, the local government of the Minister of Defense.
Okay.
Always attacked by bandits. This forest, they move from this forest to that place.
Which should provoke him then more.
Yes, to the Maradun, the Shinkafi, Raba local government, and Tureta in Sokoto. And then there is another forest called Bayanrua. This Bayanrua is a forest located behind the Bakolori Dam.
Okay.
Remember that
Bayanrua
popular
water.
Bakolori Dam?
Yeah, I remember.
So at the back of it is the forest where these boys attack local governments within Katsina, within Zamfara, and right up to Gwari in Kaduna State. So some of the local governments
I'm looking at the map
the
now.
southwestern,
Yeah.
is the southwestern part of Zamfara. That's where that forest is located. So
Okay.
they attack people, local governments in the Maru, all of those key local governments.
I hear we
and
must
then
pass over.
Kill people.
So, well, again, ours is to bring the matters to the table, dissect the matters, rake up the fine details, fine facts you really desire to make up your mind. Okay, we must move on. You know, to football or soccer matters next, away from politics. Soccer remains the greatest spectator sport on the planet. After the World Cup, UEFA encounters are the second most alluring. UEFA's second-tier competition, the Europa League, enters its semi-final stage, and England's best 2 clubs at this level are battling for honors. Chelsea fought a spirited Slavia Prague fight back in a wild 4-3 victory, while Arsenal saw off a fit-fighting Naples club side, Napoli, 3-0 on aggregate in the 2-legged quarters. Whereas Chelsea faced German powerhouse Eintracht Frankfurt in the semis, Arsenal are up against Spanish giant Valencia. That's a game to behold.
Yes, Valencia.
Arsenal.
Valencia has a rich pedigree. It's a very strong club. Whichever way some of us see the Europa League is not going to rise up to the level of the Champions League.
The big one.
But for people whose teams are still in the race, they are hopeful that if they win,
Aye, sir.
if they
My
win,
team is still in the
yes,
race.
yeah,
Your team is still there.
I'm coming to you. If they win, if any team that wins the UEFA gets an automatic qualification.
That's talking about Chelsea and
Chelsea
Arsenal.
and Arsenal, of course, there are two more. Any of those four teams can win. You get an automatic qualification for Champions League without taking part in the qualifiers. You know,
In the playoffs.
in the playoffs. I mean, so now someone was asking me, say, see these people, they behave as if Chelsea didn't win yesterday. Someone said that on Facebook. One of my friends on Facebook by the name Fumi. But Fumi does not
Fumi na
realize.
woman, no?
Fumi na woman. Well, it's my friend on
Now,
Facebook.
now you know.
Oh,
You say na
I have
Facebook
friends.
friend.
I have friends across
No,
genders.
Jide, I know. Okay, okay.
Because my wife could be watching now.
And your wife
I
now
have
woman.
yes, I have friends across genders, and she's not going to be able to stop
No,
me.
no, it's okay.
So, Fumi has to realize that.
Only wants to.
Fumi, I know why you want to distract me. Fumi has to realize that nobody will talk about Chelsea because they are playing in an inferior competition. Whatever happens there does not bother people as much as what happens in the Champions League.
Yeah.
That's why everyone was talking about Man City.
Yeah.
Who cares if Arsenal beats anyone 10-0? People are not even watching. The major TV, media corporations did not even give it that much attention. That is the level that the Europa League is. But in spite of that, because it offers a route, a direct route
to be
to
big
the
one.
Champions League,
Yeah.
teams will do whatever they need to do just so that they can win. And Arsenal has shown this season that it really means business. When Alexander Lacazette scored that free kick, he felt like, what's going on? How can anyone score from this range? Because it was a very far from the goalkeeper. But he showed an aspect of him that people didn't know until now. That he could, as a striker, he could play free
My
kicks.
people say, small picking no see am."
Even old men don't see what Lacazette, that free kick, the venom with which he hit that ball.
Oh yeah.
Nobody saw it. So congrats to Arsenal.
You always talk about, Chris, you always talk about your eyes on the ball.
Yes.
The big goal is to join the big one,
Yes.
the UEFA.
Yes.
So let's look at the matchups. Chelsea are up against Eintracht Frankfurt.
Yes. Chelsea have a very good chance to move to the finals. Don't forget that a few years ago they won the Europa as well. They did. After we have won it. When I say Manchester United,
I thought you meant
the best team in the world. Anyway, after we won it.
Until when?
Until a few days ago.
Okay.
Before
Go on.
those people. Anyway, for that, then Arsenal also. But what this has shown so far this year
But Arsenal is a perennial European failure.
That's what I'm even going there. What the European Champions League result and the Europa result has shown so far is that the English football
is coming of age.
Yes.
Oh, yeah,
moving on.
coming of age.
If you remember from years back, it has always been yes. It used to be Spain, the Spanish teams.
Sorry, he just talked about Man United in passing.
Yes.
I'm particularly happy for Raheem Sterling.
Yes.
He's becoming...
no, for Man City.
Man City. Yeah, he's becoming a revelation.
It's a big revelation this season.
And thanks to the manager.
Yes.
It takes a crack manager to bring out the full potential in you.
Yes.
You can do this.
From where he was.
Yeah.
No, they always accuse him of trying to buy success by buying expensive players.
Yeah.
But some of these players were players that he inherited at Man City. And no one can deny the fact that he has improved those boys.
Yes.
Raheem Sterling used to be unnecessarily selfish, but he has added goal scoring to his game.
That's it.
He's scoring with a consistency that is
playing
amazing.
wide.
If you play him through the middle, he will score. You play him to the on the right, he scores. Playing on the left, he scores.
For me.
But your team, Man United or Men Disunited, talk to Pogba. Discipline is his wahala.
for now. Well,
Well,
Pogba
I
is not
don't,
doing
I don't
badly.
blame him. Let them,
Pogba is
let
not-
them. When he feels like the
he's-
biggest fish in the pond,
he's
boy.
not
so
doing.
his hand is permanently like
Don't
this.
forget that
Let
Pogba.
them
Let's look
get,
at Pogba.
if they recruit the right people,
Yeah.
that will give him
Oh,
competition.
but there are many tired legs in that your team.
Yes.
We are buying
No,
players.
there
We are
has to
buying-
be,
we
there
are-
has
we are
to be a
buying
clear
players.
out.
Oh,
Now
we are
it
playing-
is we.
We
There
are
has-
buying players.
There
next
has to be
season.
a clear out.
We are buying players
The
next season.
rebuilding must continue.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
if you bring in the right players, do the right bargains, don't do penny pinching, because those Americans that bought the club, they are noted for penny pinching. And this is the richest club in the world. This is the most supported club in the world. So why don't you, they do big deals, big kids deals and all that. Spend a fraction of the money to bring in the right players. So teams like Liverpool, they spend so much this, and we are seeing the results.
Look at that
Liverpool
defender.
spent over 70 million to buy a defender.
That defender.
And nobody has
Yes,
dribbled that defender this
That's
season
very, very
in
good.
England.
You know, and you know, if we might go there briefly before we pack it all in. Look at the matchups for the semi-final UEFA.
Yes, for me,
If
as
we
I
end
said,
up an all English
it
final,
might end up an all
And
English
so also
Yes.
the potential is there for
Yes, for the Champions League.
Europa.
You know why?
Yes.
You know why?
that would be great. If
Because
Oh,
you know
come
why?
on.
Because either of those two teams, Chelsea and Arsenal, there is the possibility that they will not make the top 4 this season.
Yeah.
There is every possibility that they will not make the top 4.
Oh, you
are
are aggrieved.
Arsenal-
Oh, you are
Yes,
aggrieved.
yeah,
You are
yeah.
aggrieved.
I'm
Oh,
not
understand.
aggrieved.
Arsenal has
Arsenal
has even a better chance of making the
than Chelsea.
than Chelsea and Man
Please,
United.
no, you
There's
bad
possibility.
belly. Please leave all that.
But at the end of it all, I believe that either of them
But it
can
will be
be able
great.
to win.
It will be a
Europe.
great,
Yeah.
great.
If they do,
story
that means five
For the
teams.
4
for
teams
for those 2 English teams
Yeah.
to
to be
get to
playing the
meet
final
themselves.
of
Both Europa
I mean,
and
for 2
Champions League.
English. I mean, for those 4 teams
To play-
to play the final
Oh,
of
yeah,
Europa
yeah.
and
And the
it
Champions
will be
League.
amazing.
that's
It will be
it.
amazing if
It
it
will be a very
happens.
good one for
It
the
will show
English
that
team.
the English
English
game is improving
improving.
and the league is the best in the world.
The Real Madrid of this world are already
Oh,
falling apart.
okay, Babajide Kolade Otitoju. Now you are going to rebuild. We wish you well.
Yes.
We are rebuilding.
Thanks
So
for-
enjoy your
thanks for
Easter.
listening as well.
Chris
After
Kende,
this, you
one
can take us out.
Oh, yeah,
Oh,
you
no,
take
I'll
us
take you.
after this, you take us.
I have
You're
a
a
brew.
nice man.
I have a special brew for you.
I know.
You better believe it.
I know.
All right, so that will just about do it, folks, on the program today and the week. Enjoy your enjoy your Easter.
please.
Make the most of it. If you missed this particular one, join us at 11 tonight for a repeat broadcast, and also watch the program on other platforms, which will show you on the screen. And then, of course, we are also on YouTube at youtube.com/TVC News Nigeria. And our feedback channel is the same. I am Citizen Jones Hussein. Bye-bye now, and bless you.